I'm Dmytro, a marketer and SendPulse ambassador. In today's webinar, we will talk about how to become a technical specialist in marketing. Quick intro to the event. It will take about 30 minutes. You can ask questions in the YouTube chat that is on the right. I will monitor them and answer as you ask. If you are watching a recording of the webinar, feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. You can download slides using the link in the chat or video description. So let's get going. I will tell you how this profession is for, that is, who can become a technical specialist. You will also learn that exactly you need to learn before declaring yourself and how to figure it all out. I suggest waiting a few minutes for those who are late to join us. In the meantime, please let me know if you can see and hear me well in the chat. You can type a plus or text that you can see and hear me well. So, I'm waiting for your comments. Thank you, team. For those who have just joined, I remind you that today I will tell you how to become a technical specialist in marketing, the tools you need to learn, and what to get as a result. I think it's time to start. Good to know you are interested in today's topic. I study the audience, and it's important for me to know who you are in order to present information better for you. So please write in the chat the country you're from, where you work or study, and if you know what this technician does. I will start with my own example. My name is Dmytro. I'm from Ukraine. I work in the marketing department, namely as a chatbot manager at SendPulse. I have worked with experts in different niches. We created sales funnels using different tools, email, chatbots, SMS, etc. Now I am curious to see your answers. Let's start with answering the questions of who can become a technician. I will say that in the fact, anyone can become one. So on this slide, you see the most common examples. The fact is that usually people who already work in marketing need to solve technical problems. As a result, they like doing technical tasks more. Also, people who work as freelancers know how much they will get for orders. So they pick more difficult orders, dig into them, and get paid more for doing tech parts. There are still people who want to work in IT, but don't know how to code yet. Such people are also interested in developing in this direction. Because this work is related to integrations, website editing, funnel development, etc. Again, this is an example of the people who often becomes technicians. You can be from a completely different field, and if you have to desire and patience, you will learn and be able to work. Why do people aspire to this profession? Before I share my point of view, I'd like to know your opinion. If you can write what you think in the chat. For of all, usually a technician works remotely. It happens that such people are hired in the office, but it's not typical. And if you don't work in the office, you can work anywhere in the world from your laptop where there is internet access. Imagine the possibilities this profession opens. Second, it's an interesting job because you can get stuck in a routine. This is true because the service market is developing rapidly. New products are constantly coming out, and the old ones are being modernized. You need to work with them, which means you will constantly learn something new. And by the way, depending on the client, you will also need to learn the services that these particular clients use. What could be better than free and interesting work that pays? The third plus is wages. One client can pay in the amount of a small salary. How such clients can you take on at the same time? 3, 5? Actually, those are the main advantages of this job. Guys, friends, if you have questions, you can write it in the comments. I will ask you. What do you need to know to become a technician? Now you see a complete list of tools technicians often use on the screen. This doesn't mean that you immediately need to know everything, but this is what you will face in the future. This is helpful information. This is what you will directly encounter and customize. Of course, this doesn't mean that every client uses all these tools. But if you, for example, set up an online school from scratch, you will need to understand and know everything. And I will help you with this. I will explain each tool from this list separately in more details. Services for conducting a webinar are needed to broadcast webinars. In our case, we are hosting a webinar on social networks, and we don't need to do this using their services. Marketers and experts usually work with the sales funnels. There, you need to track each user's action, so they most likely work on one of those platforms or similar ones. You will need to figure out how to set up a broadcast for a specific time, how to connect a client to this platform. Most likely, you will use StreamYard or OBS. You will need to figure out how to set up out webinars so that one recorded webinar runs daily. You need to set up a contact forwarding and receive data on webinar view. I understand that someone might find it unclear, but I recommend you figure everything out. You can ask me, how do I do that? You can register with any of the services and try to start broadcasting. Through the link to a friend to understand if you can see well or not. Then launch auto webinars with this broadcast. This will be your first experience in setting up webinar services. Have you ever tried to develop a website? No, you don't need to do this. There are trainers specialized for this. But you will need to understand a little about it, like how to put a widget or change some text. Each of this list of platforms is Builder. Editing a site on such a platform is much easier than it seems. Everything is clear and accessible there. Many of the sites that you visit are made on those builders. If your client is rich and uses expensive self-written sites, you will just need to write instructions to the developer if something is required from him. The task for you is to register with one of those platforms and trying to create your page. You can, for example, create your resume or portfolio. Each of them has instructions and you can figure out how to work with it. As you know, most often people gather for webinars from advertising, namely on Facebook, Instagram, Google, and YouTube. There is such a profession, a web analyst, who connects services and sites with advertising services and analytics. But if there isn't a web analyst, you will need to set it up. What you need to know about Facebook Event Manager is how to set up a pixel or API event. As for Google, you will need to understand the basic of Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. I think that if you are not a marketer and have not encouraged advertising, it will be very difficult for you to explain what it is and what it is for. I recommend you to Google and study this information by yourself. In general terms, there are advertising algorithms that show specific people exactly the ads that are more useful to them. But how to identify these people? They are determined by taking up analytics. For example, we tell Google that our goal is to register for a webinar. And then we set it up so that it is clear which people are registered and which are not. Next, Google is looking for similar people for advantages to those who have already registered. Only you can be this person who sets up ad goals so that Google sees which people respond to the invitation and which do not. Then there may be more complex settings to track people's actions after the webinar. Data is sent from a website or chatbot, webinar service, or educational platform. Now I will check your questions. You can ask everything about this. Don't be shy. Maybe I will continue about integrations. We use integrations to connect all the tools to transfer data about users and their actions to each other. You can use simple services, integration builders, or write code. This is a simple code, but sooner or later you will learn to write it. You have no idea how many cool things you can do with integrations. Full understanding will come to you after you receive a task. For example, to connect a website with a chatbot and a CRM system. Integrations are one of the most important tasks that technicians do. When you find a client, no matter what tools he uses, in a case you need to use integration. Now I want to talk about a platform that combines four important marketing tools: email, chatbots, CRM, and online course platform. You can learn how to use this platform, and it will be much easier for you to master the others. Or you can recommend this platform to your customers. I want to clear up how to work with it, and then you can already master it yourselves. Let's start with emails. I need to change my screen. First, need to create a mailing list. For this example, we don't need to import a list of addresses there. Now I'll show you why. Name of our list will be new list, SendPulse. Okay, sorry. Great. Next, we need to create the first email. For example, this mail list, contact this email, my email. Next, we will create first mail later, not later, first email. Need to email templates, add. We can choose, but for this example, I will try this. Now you see how easy it's to create emails. For example, you edit text here, new text, image. You can upload yours, but I will show you default. You can use CTA button. Okay, we will set it. Name. Okay. Now we need to build automation. Here, there we will need to create a flow. We need to send this email to the contacts that fall into the mail list. Create new automation. Okay. We need flow start. And now we select an action. A user from the mailing list has been added. Our mail list, new list, apply. Next step is to send an email. We select an email that we created in advance. Select. And we need to enter a subject line and a pre-header. Subject, SendPulse, webinar. It's, for example, apply. Save everything. You can see how easy it to make an automatic action with barely learning how to use the platform. What are we setting now? Users who enter the mailing list will automatically receive an email. You will do this all time. You will need to do a lot of those long flows, but now you know how easy it's to use SendPulse. And now I will tell you about chatbots. I think you have probably used chatbots and know what they are. In messengers, a robot automatically answers you, taking into account your answers and the buttons you press. Now I will show you how to create bots with no suite. There are similar flows as in emails, but they work a little differently. There is no need to prepare each messages in advance. In messengers, they are much more primitive and you can write them right here. Let's move on the flows. We create a new flow and immediately get to the first message. Here we insert the text. First message. And add the buttons. First. Second. Next, we have the option to customize the action, like adding a variable. Add variable. We will create new variable. And we set variable value. A webinar. I will name it by. Okay. Now we can filter by this variable. This variable contains web. These are a few possibilities from the whole complex for creating a chatbot. I showed you a few things so you can see how easy it is to use the builder to create chatbots. You can make bots in WhatsApp and Facebook Manager, and we also have others. To try making bot yourself, you can register with the SendPulse and do it on a free plan. You can write your questions. Next is CRM systems. So you will also need a CRM system. It is a tool. Yes. It is a tool to make it easier for managers to work. It's not very convenient to write our clients in a table. It's easier when all processes are automated. Therefore, often technical specialists set up CRM systems. Here you see is CRM. And now you will see the deal stages. For example, you have several stages that lead the client to sales. And you write down each stage in order to see and what stage of communication with the client you are. Now let's create a deal. All you have to do is enter contacts of the client and you're done. Name client, okay. Client, mobile, deal. Usually contacts falls into the CRM automatically, so it's much easier than entering each client manually. I talked about integrations today. You can set up automatic adding of contacts using it. I will also show you the task manager. When you work alone, it's easier for you to see your task. You can even use a piece of paper to write everything down. But when working in a team, it's much easier to use the task manager. You can assign tasks to your colleagues and receive tasks for the client. The last one for today is an online course creation platform. I will call it educational platform. I suggest starting your full-fledged training with it because it's the most popular and easiest. Thanks to such platforms, online education has become much easier because here then you can design lessons, track students, and assignment. No matter how well a student understands system, it will be very easy for him to learn, and you will follow this as a technical specialist. You need to configure the appearance of each lesson, assignment, and tests, the conditions for providing access for students and teachers. If an expert is good, lessons are constantly added to him, which means that you will already have work. I suggest you to try to understand the educational platform. For this, you need to take a short course. It's free. You don't need to pay money, just register and watch the lesson. The link to the course is in the presentation and well as in the comments. Follow the link, register. This is the first step to the profession of a technical specialist. I will wait for your questions.
Dima, thank you for your presentation. It was very useful and interesting to someone who has no idea about SendPulse or its functionality. Um, we have a question from Gabriela. She's asking, is this webinar remain up after this? Yes, sure. By this link, you can watch the webinar again anytime. We won't hide it or delete it, so you can rewatch it anytime you want. As we are waiting for questions, I want to remind you that before we end today's event, all of the links are in the chat, or if you're watching a recording of this webinar, all of the links are in the description of this video. You can download slides. Link is also available in the chat. And also, when you registered for the event, you could see that we are providing you with certificates of completion. We will send those to you by the end of this week in email that you used for registration. So be patient and wait. We won't forget about this. And also, last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It's always a good idea because every week we upload new videos on digital marketing and SendPulse functionality for you to learn. So as we wait, maybe you have some other questions to Dmytro or not, please feel free to ask them. I also saw that we have some active watchers right here in our chat. Hello to everyone from Nigeria. Thank you for coming. As we wait, yeah, no questions, but as we wait, may I ask some questions? Dima, please. We have one more comment from Armina. She says, thank you for introducing us to SendPulse. I think I'll be observing more of how it works when I sign up for the training. Sure, the link is in the comments. It's pinned on the top of the chat on YouTube, so please feel free to start as you want. Also, we have a poll in the YouTube chat where we ask, do you have any experience in marketing? And most of the people who participated answered that they are already working in marketing, but they want to learn more about how to become a technical specialist. So you can rewatch this presentation and enroll into SendPulse training, and you will be fixed for that, and we will be happy for you to start learning and using SendPulse.
I think we can finish.
Oh no, wait. We have one more
wait.
question. Wait, Gabriela asked, she's a complete, Gabriel, I'm so sorry, is a complete newbie on this, and he asks, does he have to have a familiarity with website builder in order to use SendPulse? It's whether he has to have any experience with coding or making up a website before using SendPulse. Maybe you can answer that.
Can you help me with this question? What does it mean?
It means that the person has to have any coding experience or whatsoever to start using SendPulse. We have a course on the website builder itself. It's pretty easy to use, and you don't have to know any coding. You don't have to have coding skills because SendPulse is a no-code service, so you can easily use drag and drop builder to build your first website yourself. Also, we have one more question. SendPulse is a platform where we can use for our business, like we create chatbots. Yes, you for sure can create chatbots with SendPulse. Actually, if you register for the event through the Facebook chatbot, you can see and test it yourself. This chatbot was created with SendPulse with the free account. It's actually Dima who is a chatbot expert here, so he can tell more about chatbots, what platforms you can use, and what you can make up. How hard is it to make up your first bot using SendPulse? Also, on the SendPulse video training, that link is in chat, pinned on the top of the chat. You can, there are some modules dedicated to different SendPulse services, such as email marketing and chatbots and web push notifications. So you can mix and match what exact service you want to learn and start your career as a technical specialist here. So I guess no more questions. Dima, maybe you wanted to add something.
I can just say about coding experience. You don't need it. You need to try. You can register in SendPulse, and for 1 hour you will understand how to use it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's no rocket science. You can easily learn it yourself. So I guess, guys, we are going to wrap up today's event. Thank you all for coming and watching it. All of the links are in the chat and in the description of the video. And thank you, Dima, for joining us and preparing this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I hope this webinar was useful for you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.